Hi folks, welcome to session number 9 of my Blender training part 2. Okay, in this I'll quickly introduce you to modeling using curves. Okay, sometimes some models are easier to construct, okay, using curves and then convert them into meshes. Okay, I'll cover the very basics in this class. Okay, um, let's get started. So let me launch Blender. Okay, I'm using a 2.56a beta. Okay, 2.57 will be releasing very soon. Okay, um, so let's get started. So select inverse. Okay, select inverse and move these objects to layer number 20. Okay, and let's delete this default cube. Okay, we don't need this, and switch to the top view and orthographic view. Okay, all right, so now let's add a curve object. Okay, let's add a path. Okay, now since it's a curve object, in the properties editor, the object data for curve, okay, is a little different. Okay, like if you have a mesh object, right? Okay, for the mesh object you have this mesh data. So you see the panels are different, and for a curve object the curve data is different. Okay, cool. So I have this curve, and it's a 3D curve. Okay, um, let's go to the 3D view and our perspective, and if you go into the 3D view modes, you'll notice that again for a curve object there are only two modes: edit mode and object mode. And again, if you add a mesh object has, okay, weight, paint, texture, vertex, sculpt, which is extra. Okay, so you should be aware of that. Okay, frame selected and go into the edit mode. You'll notice this particular curve has 5 vertices. Okay, or we call them control vertices. Okay, you can select a vertex and move it up. Okay, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. Okay, and it's a 3D curve, so it's moving in 3 dimensions. Okay, if you make it 2D, it only exists in the x and y plane. Okay, again, now it's a 3D curve. Okay, great. Now we can do some fancy things with this curve. Okay, let's say, okay, let me add a circle. Okay, now it's a curve circle. Okay, it's not the mesh circle. Okay, so I have this circle. Now I'll select this NURBS path which we have added before and point the Bezier circle to this bevel object. um, okay, so you'll notice that this particular circle, okay, has been sort of like extruded along this path. Okay, I can select the actual circle and scale it down. Okay, okay, or I can just leave it alone and select the NURBS path object, go into its edit mode. Now select all these vertices or the control points. Okay, and then uh, type alt S. Okay, if you type alt S, okay, uh, we can control the size of the extrusion along the path. Okay, it's basically the shrink flatten tool. Okay, there you go. Okay, and then for this vertex I can again do alt S and then control the uh, okay, size of it. There you go, alt S. Okay, and alt S. Okay, so let's switch to the wireframe mode. Okay, you'll notice we have around 12 subdivisions in this direction. So if I make it, okay, that's what I have. So basically between this vertex and this vertex, so this controls how many subdivisions happen. Okay, so between this vertex and this vertex, okay, I have two subdivisions like 1 and 2. So I can control the smoothness of this one. Okay, and I can go back to this object and move its vertices to control. Okay, again let's keep it simple for this lesson. Okay, and okay, so I have this curve object, right, the nerves path object. Now what if I want to convert this into a polygonal mesh, right? So just like we did in the modifiers example, let's not convert this into a mesh. So let's make a duplicate. So okay, duplicate, and let's press the Y key to constrain in the Y direction. Okay, now let's convert this into a mesh. So space key, and okay, you have this convert operator. The hotkey is Alt C. So now we want a mesh from a curve, right? We have a curve object, we need a mesh from it. So choose this. So now you'll notice that we have a mesh object because the object data turns into the mesh properties. Okay, I can tab into the edit mode and you have access to the individual faces. Okay, cool. Okay, that's how you can start with a curve. Okay, create a shape and then convert it into a mesh. Okay, let's move it in the y-axis. Okay, you can do more things with the this curve. Okay, so far we have seen Alt S to shrink and flatten this control vertex. Every control vertex also has a tilt operator. Okay, hotkey is Control T, and to clear the tilt it's Alt T. So let's select this control vertex and press Control T and then move the mouse. Okay, as you move the mouse, right, okay, you will notice the control vertex is tilting, and then the mesh, the curve, as it this curve as it follows along this control vertices, it tilts. Okay, and you have this sort of uh, you know twisted behavior. So let's select this vertex and Control T. Okay, and just move the mouse around, and there you go. Okay, you can also select all the control vertices and Control T. Okay, normally if you select everything, the effect may be not that apparent. So let's select this, Control T. Okay, there you go. Okay, and you can try increasing see this to get more right. So let's clear the tilt, select all these control vertices and clear tilt. Okay, Alt T. Okay, it's back to normal. All right, so that's the first exercise. Okay, now let's look at another example, right? Okay, I'm going into a new layer and switching to the top view and ortho. Okay, I'll start with a mesh. Okay, I'll start with a plane. Okay, switch to the edit mode and bring up the edge the specials menu and subdivide. Okay, I'll maybe subdivide once more. Okay, now let's switch to the front view. Switch to the front view. Okay, and we will use a warp operator. Okay, we have it's not UV unwrapping. Okay, it's a interesting tool. So that tool uses the 3D cursor to warp the meshes. Okay, so let's move the 3D cursor over here. Okay, and warp. Okay, so the hotkey is Shift W, and before I do this I need to switch to the 3D cursor mode. Okay, again remember the 3D manipulator or the transform manipulator moves to the uh, pivot point mode. So since the pivot point mode is the 3D cursor, the manipulator has moved to the 3D cursor. So if I change it back to bounding box setter, it goes there. Okay, 3D cursor and select all the vertices. Okay, go to the front view and shift W. Okay, so it's warping around the cursor. Okay, okay, let's do it. Shift W, and there you go. Okay, now let's undo. Go to the side view or the right view and shift W. Okay, now it happens in the other direction. Okay, cool. So let's undo again and move the 3D cursor over here and shift W. Okay, now there you go, you get more rounded appearance. Alright, cool. So we have this mesh, that's a good start. Okay, now I basically want to create, okay, sort of like tentacles on each of these faces. Okay, I have okay 16 faces, right? So on each of these faces I want to create a tentacle sort of form, okay, very easily. So since we have learned about uh, modeling using curves, we can easily do that. Okay, but this time I want to align this particular curve, okay, on the face, okay, using the snap and align tools. Okay, so to do that we need to make sure the curve, okay, the initial curve points in a particular direction. Okay, so let's go to the top view, ortho. Okay, and let's add a curve path. Okay, now for this curve path, right, okay, if you look at these dimensions, okay, the dimension of this particular curve in the x direction is 4 units. So this is the center, 2 units on the positive x-axis and 2 units on the negative x-axis. Okay, now let's turn on the axis display and x-ray for this curve so that it's always showing in front of the other geometry. Okay, now I want this particular curve to be on the positive x-axis. Okay, so let's switch to the curves edit mode, select all the vertices and press the G key. Okay, constrain in the x direction and press 2. Okay, I pressed 2 because I know that uh, the curve was symmetrically 2 units, okay, of width on the uh, both the x and y axis. So basically this is what I mean. Okay, so from here to here it's 2 units and from here to here it's 2 units. So I selected all the vertices, G to grab, X to constrain and press 2 to move in the x-axis. Okay, but you'll notice there's a small problem, which is uh, my curve, right? Okay, its origin is not at the world origin. Okay, because the 3D cursor is at this location, and whenever you add a new object, that object is added at the cursor location. So I need to clear the origin, so reset all default values. Perfect. Okay, now let me quickly show you how to use the snap align tools and see what we get. Okay, so remember that uh, this curve is pointing in the positive x direction. Okay, let's enable this snap tool and I want the snap to happen on the face and I want this object to align, okay, in the normal direction. Okay, now for this curve, okay, we will see what the normal direction is. So I select this curve, press the G key, and as I move the mouse right, the origin of the curve is snapping to the face. Okay, and you'll notice that the snapping direction is in the negative z axis. Okay, because the z-axis, if you see, is pointing okay, perpendicular to the surface of this face. Okay, cool. So but I want my curve to be pointing in the z direction. Okay, or the negative z direction. Okay, so to do that, select all the vertices of the curve, go to the front view. Okay, and rotate. Now if I rotate now, right, the rotation is happening around the 3D cursor. This is not what I want. I want to move this 3D cursor to the world origin, so shift C, and make sure I'm in the 3D cursor pivot mode, and then rotate. So I'm rotating this curve in the negative z direction, so that when I snap this curve, it will point perpendicular to the face. Okay, so let me type 90. There you go. Okay, now let's try to snap this G, and there you go. Okay, awesome. All right, now I want to create a sort of like a tentacle sort of surface, so let's add a new curve, circle. Okay, and let's select this curve, and this should point to now what is the name of this circle? Bezier circle 001. So Bezier circle 001. Okay, and then you can scale it down. You can either scale the object itself, or as we did before, scale shrink flatten. Okay, select all the vertices. Okay, and Alt S. Okay, to shrink flatten. Okay, there you go. Okay, let me turn off the manipulator, and I'll turn off okay, cool, turn off the manipulator. And now let's duplicate, let's go to the wireframe mode. You'll notice that on this mesh you don't see all the faces. Okay, it has 16 faces. That's because we need to turn on display all edges. Okay, and then in the object mode, turn on the wireframe. Okay, again, if you remove this, sometimes it won't show all the edges. All right, so I have this object. Let me just snap it properly. Okay, like this. Okay, maybe I'll just all right, perfect. Okay, now I'll shift duplicate and place it here, and the hotkey for shift duplicate is shift D, right? So just place it here and shift D, place it here. Okay, oops, that didn't work. Let's try it again. Okay, it's on the surface. Okay, select, and okay, it's perfectly on the surface. Again, you know, these tools are very awesome. Okay, um, there you go. Okay, now I can control each of these individually. Okay, I can select this. Okay, uh, let's Alt S. Okay, let's switch back to bounding box center. Alt S. Okay, have like a pointed thingy. Okay, Alt S again. Okay, okay, we can also make use of proportional editing. Okay, let's turn off snap for now. Let's enable proportional editing. Select this vertex and move it. Okay, so there you go, move it in the z direction. Okay, Alt S. Now when you do Alt S, because we are in proportional editing, whichever control vertices fall inside the circle will accordingly shrink and flatten. Okay, can move this. Okay, rotate it to give it more structure. Okay, there you go. Okay, you can go crazy. Okay, you can okay, do something like this. Okay, remember you have different proportional fall offs. You can experiment with them. Okay, so let me switch to, let's say, sharp, and then move it. Okay, now I have a sharp fall off. Okay, I can change these fall offs as I am in proportional editing by pressing Shift O. Okay, if you notice the 3D view header, it'll show you which fall off mode is active. Okay, now linear mode is active, now constant mode is active, and smooth, and sphere, so on and so forth. Okay, cool. So yeah, these are very nice tools. Should definitely check it out. Alt S. Okay, okay, and you can further select these objects, and then shift select the mesh, and make parent. Okay, so now if you move this object, okay, everything will move along with it. Okay, you can rotate it. Okay, you can move it, and then select these and edit them. Okay, Alt S, and just move it like this. Okay, cool. And you can clear the rotation, Alt R, and clear the location, Alt G. Okay, frame selected. And if you want to make a copy of this on this side, okay, if you think this is in the way, you can just G and Y, move it up. Okay, also the axis display for these objects, right? Okay, um, yeah, you can hide it if you don't need it. Let's just hide it. Okay, and then we can Shift D and oops, enable the snap and move it. Okay, and Shift D and snap. Okay, okay, so Shift and okay, this is not aligned properly, so okay, Shift D and align this to this face. Okay, cool. Okay, yeah, you need to just play around with the movement so that it's perfectly on the face. Okay, now if I move this, it should be almost on the face. Okay, cool. And then as I showed you before, you can convert this into meshes. Okay, um, let's turn off the X-ray mode. Okay, you'll notice this is not aligned properly. All right, turn off the X-ray mode. X-ray mode. All right. Yeah, so you can convert this to meshes. Alt C, mesh from metasurf. Okay, now you have a mesh. Okay, you can further select say select these vertices. Oops, let's turn off the snap tools, but select this and change the fall off mode to smooth. Okay, and then move it. Okay, there you go. Okay, so just play around with it. You can create some interesting models using meshes and curves. Okay, all right, so that's it for this part 2. Okay, in part 3 of session 9, we will take a look at managing and organizing objects using layers, and also I'll quickly introduce you to a few of the lamps in Blender. Okay, thank you.